What up everyone, True Blue here. And for those who don't know, I'm not the biggest fan of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Not because Mario Kart's a bad game, I actually really love Mario Kart. I'm just kind of sick of having that game be the Mario Kart for the last decade. It's like how people feel about GTA 5. And a lot of people have always wondered what it would be like if they took the idea of Smash Bros, combined a fighting game with just Nintendo. What if you took Mario Kart and made it like a Nintendo Kart, or just a Nintendo-themed version of Mario Kart that isn't just that Mario franchise? We got a bit of that with a few DLC characters from Splatoon, Zelda, and Animal Crossing respectively, but we never really got that full Nintendo Kart. So today, I will be giving you, my audience, my interpretation of what could be Nintendo Kart. Now, before I get into it, here's what I'm not going to be covering. Because Mario Kart's a very chunky game content-wise, so I want to just go over characters, the loadouts, aka, your carts, the wheels, gliders, and stages. I will not be going over any, stage gimmicks, side modes, any how the items are going to work, music, DLC, none of that. I'll be focusing strictly on what makes a game like Mario Kart so special, and that is the character roster, your carts, and your stages. That's what draws people to Mario Kart besides the gameplay itself, which would basically just be Mario Karts anyway. Besides that, this roster is going to be the same size as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's, which is 42 at launch. And then I have 25 carts, 15 wheels, 15 gliders, and 8 cups, which means 32 stages will all be in the base of this game that I am definitely designing. I also want to point out, due to Mario Kart's overall success, I picture them taking a lot, and I mean a lot, from those original games, especially Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and kind of just copying and pasting it and making that part of this new Nintendo Kart. There's going to be a big Mario focus, but it's definitely, in terms of coming from someone who understands programming, it would save a lot of time. And on top of that, if they're just going to make Nintendo Kart, which would just be like, oh look, we're just going to remove all these extra Mario characters and throw in someone famous, it would make sense to try to use as much as they could, because they'd have to be doing a lot more legal brandship, ownership, whatever nonsense to get all these characters in. And this is not just going to be like Smash Bros. I did not just take the Smash roster, I actually tried to see what would fit in Mario Kart. Anyway, time for the characters. So with 42 characters, that's a pretty chunky roster, but I tried to balance it as much as I could with your popular, your clear references, and your Mario. So Mario's just a constant in this video. So, of course, we're going to keep some of the mainstays in Mario Kart, or the Mario franchise overall. Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Rosalina, Toad, Bowser, and Bowser Jr. are all going to be in the base roster. Toad is also going to have his alt colors. I'll be mentioning any characters who have the alt color gimmick, because a lot of when you're booting up levels with computers, they like taking some of these various characters so it's not the same sets every time, which is why I wanted to try incorporating as many as possible, just throwing that out there. On top of that, I have 2 more Mario-specific characters that I feel really elevate the roster because of their importance in Mario Kart, that being Dry Bones and Shy Guy, who has alt colors. I know you're probably sitting here furious. Why the heck are we taking Nintendo Kart and throwing in a Dry Bones and a Shy Guy? In the world of Mario Kart, those are relatively common characters throughout all of the rosters, and popular choices in the spin-off games, especially Dry Bones and Mario Kart, so I think they deserve a spot in a kart racer based around Nintendo. Now, for 10 characters directly referencing the Mario franchise is a lot, but we still have a few more franchises related, sorta, kinda. Next, we have Yoshi. I'll have his alt colors, and alongside him, making his debut in the main series, Poochie. If you don't know, Poochie's actually in Mario Kart Tour, which crime he should be in the mainline games, but that's neither here nor there. Next, we're going to go to Donkey Kong, who will bring along Diddy Kong and Funky Kong. Diddy Kong kind of makes sense. Funky Kong, he was so popular, he got in the DLC pass for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So, if they're going to put someone big, I think Funky Kong is a good choice. Lastly, we have Wario and Waluigi, wrapping up all of the Mario Kart characters, Mario franchisees, if you will. That's 17 characters out of the 42 that are directly Mario related, which is a lot. But this is how I definitely see them going about making this roster. Now we get to the fun stuff. The rest of this are going to be, in some way, shape, or form, related to Nintendo, and very few of these will be taken from the DLC. AKA, all of them are in here somewhere, somehow. So first, let's go with Nintendo's other big IP from the old days, Legend of Zelda. We're going to take Link, and we're going to take Zelda. We can take Link from Tears of the Kingdom and Zelda from Tears of the Kingdom as well, or we could take different appearances, like have multiple options, like in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Now, there's no guarantee we'll get that, but it's just a nice idea. Next, let's go to Splatoon. We'll have an Inkling and Octoling. Both have different color choices. Maybe they'll have like the gender differences too, because those were two separate slots in Mario Kart 8, and I wouldn't want to waste them on Inkling girl boy, Octoling girl boy. I think that'd be an absolute waste. So we could combine them. And lastly, for the franchises that were already represented, we're going to take the Villager. Again, combine all those alts into one thing, so we have one Villager, and then Isabelle, and a newcomer, Tom Nook. I think it'd be funny. He wasn't in the last one, but I think it'd be funny. So we're putting Tom Nook. And here are now is where we get some good references. So if for my fans of the GameCube game Kirby's Air Ride, we have the hit sensation Kirby, who did have a racing game, which is why I called him out directly. Kirby, who have alt colors based off his various appearances. King Dedede will join him alongside him, and not Meta Knight, Bandana D. Bandana D will also have alternate colors, and you're probably sitting here wondering, why am I picking Bandana D over Meta Knight? Simple response. Honestly, I just don't think Meta Knight fits in with the kart racing aesthetic. Like, I think the rest of this roster is kind of like big, bubbly characters, and Meta Knight kind of doesn't fit that. And I know there's a couple like villains in here that are more like gritty, but I don't know, something about Meta Knight being in a kart specifically just didn't sit right with me. So I decided to go Bandana D, because it's Bandana D, and who doesn't love Bandana D? There are other Meta Knight references throughout the game in other places, it's just in this one instance he's not playable. Bandana D is, but he's still there in spirit. Next up, we have Samus with alternate colors based off different suits, like the Gravity suit or her appearance in like classic Metroid, Metroid Prime, Metroid Dread, whatever the case. There is no Zero suit. This is just Samus and the armor. We have like, I don't know, maybe one of her like animations when you get a boost off a ledge, she like takes off her helmet so you can actually see her. But next we have Fox and Falco from Star Fox. Obviously they're flying their R-Wings or other vehicles all the time. Now, while I was just gonna give Fox a slot, due to Smash having a big impact on this franchise, Fox and Falco are like a package deal at this point, so it felt weird putting one not the other due to, again, Smash effect. So Fox and Falco are in this roster together. Lastly, representing, not just solo representing their franchises, we have Captain Falcon and Black Shadow from F-Zero. Obviously, F-Zero was referenced a ton in the original Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but we didn't have Captain Falcon. So, he deserves a nice spot, but I didn't want just Captain Falcon. I wanted another rep because F-Zero, all the fans love it. So, I wanted another rep for F-Zero. And while I could have done Blood Falcon or another racer, I thought Black Shadow was he just stood out like a sore thumb. And still fit with the more cartoony aesthetics, besides some of the other racers in F-Zero. But he was also a big bad and kind of the main villain. Actually, no, he just is the main villain, so I think it does work out really well having him be Captain Falcon's counterpart in this case. Next, I want to cover these two games together. We have the Excite Biker from Excite Bike and the Wave Racer from Wave Race. Both of these games are classic Nintendo racers from the NES and N64 respectively. If you haven't heard of them or played of them, I believe both are actually on Switch Online. So you can try those out if you have the online membership. Not like a sponsor or plug or anything, just throwing that out there for those who want to try more Nintendo games. Excite Bike obviously got referenced with a stage, but Wave Race is more obscure in my opinion due to it not being a classic NES game, being a 64 and having, I believe, 2 other releases. And then the franchise itself only lasted like 5 years, but it's still highly remembered and has a big cult following. So I think both deserve a solid appearance in this game via the general racers in each game, and they'd have alt colors based off of different outfits those racers would wear in their original games. Next, because it's the #1 media franchise, Pikachu from Pokemon. I didn't want to actually have a Pokemon racer in the game. I know, kind of crazy to say that. I didn't want a Pokemon racer at all, but just as a franchise, it's so big, you had to have at least one, so we're taking the mascot. Pikachu will somehow drive a car, and we're not going to question it. Next, we have Olimar from Pikmin. Pikmin 4 obviously being a massive game, and the Pikmin franchise having a very big cult following. Makes sense we have Olimar get in here. Then we have Marth from Fire Emblem. While I wanted to take the protagonist from Engage, as it's the most recent entry as of uploading this video, it felt weird only because, unlike other Nintendo franchises where they try advertising the more recent characters, or there's that one main focal point like Mario or Link, Fire Emblem, being an RPG, has a lot of characters, but this is again part of Smash, Marth has gotten so big as this mainstay in Fire Emblem and this big heroic character throughout the lore, that I think it makes sense that he is the one playable in the game instead of the protag, which kind of upsetting to me. I would like the protag. I haven't played Engage, so I don't even know if the game's good. But yeah, I have Marth here. Let me know if you think there's a better option for Fire Emblem, but yeah, that is my choice. Going right off of that, we have Noah from Xenoblade 3, the protag of that game. While I know Shulk is big, Xenoblade has definitely grown a lot bigger, especially in Nintendo's eyes, since the release of 2 and 3. So this time, I think for sure, they would take the protagonist of the most recent game, which is Noah, and put him in the game. Maybe if this came out on the supposed next gen console that Nintendo's working on, that there's a new Xenoblade, they take that protag, but as it stands, Noah is going to be joining my Mario Kart roster. Next, we're going to take Springman from ARMS. While ARMS is not the most well-loved and or popular game, it's still a Nintendo property, and I mean, every little bit of like, hey, we got a franchise, kind of helps. So, while he couldn't make it into the Smash roster, he was stuck as an assist trophy, he'll make it in here, because let's be honest, he's the ARMS character, alright? I know Min Min got in, but like, he's the ARMS character. It's the truth. Now, number 40. This one, I don't think anyone was expecting, which is why I'm kind of building it up. We're going to take Andy from Advance Wars, the main character. Now, I know this seems kind of random. There was a new Advance Wars that came out. Brought back Andy into the spotlight. But in that game, all the characters are driving tanks or planes. They are driving. It makes sense to have a character from there, so why not just take the protagonist regardless of their actual role in the game? So Andy will be joining this roster, even though his Overall presence and, I guess, sense of being an icon is definitely nowhere near the level of everyone else. I think it's a cool touch for actual big Nintendo fans. Lastly, joining back the Mario Kart roster ever since his last appearance on the DS, we have Rob. Kind of a weird thing, but for those who don't know, in Mario Kart DS, Rob is actually an unlockable character. Yes, Rob the Robot, the one who is in Smash, was part of the NES as a add-on. Rob was a playable character, so Rob is going to be in this game too, because he was in the DS, so might as well be in this one. And for number 42, we're going to take the Miis. We'll have Mii costumes, probably Amiibo Mii costumes, whatever the case. Miis, your customizable avatar on the Wii, Wii U, 3DS, and Switch. We'll be taking those, and those will be your self-inserts, if you will. For a 42-character roster, it's pretty insane how much I actually got to fit in here, and I'm actually really proud of this. I really like how this roster came out. A part of me does not like the look of all the Mario characters, but since I'm basing this off of Mario Kart, it makes sense. If this was like a Nintendo IP, not Mario Kart related, or related to Mario specifically, I definitely would have tried balancing the roster out more, but as it stands, I still really like how this roster came out, and in my opinion, it's a tough one to beat. It is a tough one to beat as it stands. Let me know your thoughts about the roster, and if there's any characters you personally would have put in for whatever reason, if it's bias or if you think Nintendo would have picked them, whatever the case, let me know in the comments. So we have 25 kart pieces, some of which taken from Mario Kart, some of which are vehicles or other things of the sorts being referenced in some way, shape, or form to make a kart. That is the thought process between these next 4 segments. So we have the original pipe frame from the OG Mario Kart that's appeared in every game since. And then we have the modern kart as well that's been used since the Wii. I want to say it was the Wii is when we got that current design. And then we're also going to take the standard bike, which debuted in the Wii as well. The Egg 01 and the Yoshi bike to reference Yoshi. Obviously the Egg 01 is just a Yoshi egg and the Yoshi bike is just the Yoshi. For Donkey Kong, I took the Rambi Rider, which is also from the Wii. I want to say. I think it's from the Wii. I might be misremembering off the top of my head. But the Rambi Rider, obviously referencing Rambi from Donkey Kong Country. For Wario, we're going to just take his bike and his car. One from WarioWare, one from Wario Land. And then we're going to go back to Bowser with his Koopa Clown car. Classic, mainstay. And the Bowser Muscle Car, which appeared in Mario 3D World in the first boss fight. It's actually a really sick car, and I'm surprised it's not made an appearance. It had a chance in this game, but yeah, so I put that in because it screams like a Mario Kart car. That's why I'm so like shocked that it's not in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I also took a few more of the enemy or other character-based vehicles. So the Cheap Sheep Charger, Bullet Blaster, and Wild Wiggler all make big, not really comebacks, they're in most games. They're also in this game. Next, we're going to take the Splatoon vehicle that was added into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And we're also going to take the Master Cycle. For Zelda, I also would like to make a kart based off of the King of Red Lions, preferably a motorcycle, because I think it would work with the shape. A motorcycle based off of the King of Red Lions from Wind Waker, and a kart based off of the Spirit Train from Spirit Tracks, because that's a game all about a train, a vehicle. You don't really get a lot of those, especially in the Zelda franchise, so take what you can get. Next, we have the Warp Star. This was the main vehicle in Kirby's Air Ride, so this definitely has to make some sort of appearance in this game. And the Halberd, Meta Knight's main mode of transportation, I guess, in most of the Kirby games. Big, awesome ship, make it a little small car, awesome, just cool. Next, we're going to take the R-Wing from Star Fox. Again, main vehicle, you gotta have it. Blue Falcon, which is in Mario Kart. We're going to take that over, have another F-Zero related thing. Next, we're going to take a Revavroom, the Pokemon. It's a car-based Pokemon. Having that as a basis for a car, like, it's right there. If they don't take it, that's crazy. And to round it off, we have the SS Dolphin from Pikmin, a ship. Samus's gunship. Take a guess what that is. And lastly, the Labo Car from Labo Kit 3, as it's a vehicle-based one that's actually compatible with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. We're taking that little buggy thing in the game and turning that into one of the vehicles because it's literally a car. Like, it works out perfectly. It's literally a car. Next, we have our wheels. We're going to take the standard tire from Mario Kart, the slim tires, the roller tires, which are the really small ones, and the monster tires, which are the comically big ones. All will be taken over and brought into this game. From Tears of the Kingdom, we're going to be taking the small wheels and the big wheels that you can use to attach to various things that you're building. Those will be wheels in this game. We'll take the Wheelie from Kirby, Wheelie Rider, the Wheelie, whichever version of it you want to take. We'll be taking him. He'll be some way, shape, or form turned into a wheel. We don't ask about the logistics or ethics about that. And neither will we about Roly-Coly. We'll also be taking a Morph Ball. I know Samus is playable, but we could just be like, it's just like an empty suit or something. We have a Morph Ball as one of the wheels, because it's a ball, like it works. Next, to reference some more franchises, we're going to take Ness's Yo-Yo, which, thanks to Smash Bros., is very much a common form of looking at Ness. And while there's other things in Mother I could have used, I think the Yo-Yo just works because, again, Smash. Taking the Ring Con, that is the attachment you use to play Ring Fit Adventure. I think it'd be funny if that was one of the wheels. If you remember this from the Switch's launch, Snipper Clips, we're going to be taking those little guys and turning them into circular shapes, making them wheels. I want to say their names are quite literally Snip and Clip, but I'm not sure. Rob is here, so we might as well do another classic reference. We're going to take the Gyromites that came with Rob, turn those into wheels. It's already a circle, so might as well use it. We're going to take the Smash logo. It's a big crossover. Smash Bros. Exists, and might as well reference that while we're at it. The Smash logo will be turned into a wheel. And lastly, we're going back to arms. And due to the various arms, there was going to be one that worked, I felt. So I looked for all of them, and the Chakram arm. It's in Smash. Min Min has it. We can take that and turn that into a wheel, because it already kind of fits the shape. Circular. It works. Lastly, for pieces, we have 15 gliders. From Mario Kart, we didn't actually take that many. We only have the Super Glider, which is your standard glider, the Waddle Wing, and the Swooper. If you couldn't tell in terms of the Mario pieces, I tried doing the ones that were direct references to something in the franchise itself, because the generic carts that were pseudo-references, I didn't think deserved proper spots, if that makes any sense. Next, we're going to take the Paraglider, because it's in the name. It's from Zelda, like it works perfectly. Then we're going to take Meta Knight's wings and Kirby's wing hat, because, again, they both work. They both work pretty good. Next, I think it'd be fun if we had a little glider that was just little wing Pikmin, or a ton of wing Pikmin, holding up the cart as it would glide. Be a cute little touch. For the next 5, to make more classic references, we're going to have an 8-bit Mario sprite, DK sprite, Link sprite, Kirby sprite, and a Metroid sprite. All be gliders that are equipable. This is something done in actually the mobile game, which is where I got the idea from. And I think it'd be cool if they added it here, because they now have more sprites to work with that isn't just from Mario. Also, for the last 2 gliders, I think it'd be fun if we had the Nintendo logo and an NES controller. Again, 2 more classic things to round off the gliders. I think it'd be fun. If it's not the characters or the carts, a lot of people really find the stages important. And it makes sense. That's kind of the bread and butter of a racing game. Besides the controls, it's really the tracks you're racing on and how they feel to drive on. That is the bread and butter, in some way, shape, or form, of your racing game. So with 32 stages, what did I do? Well, you're gonna hate me, but 5 out of the 8 cups are references to Mario Kart in some way, shape, or form. I'm sorry. I had to do it. For the first one, we have the Mario Cup. This will have a new Mario Stadium, a new desert level, a new Bowser's Castle, and a new Rainbow Road. You know, those are like 4 classic things that a lot of the Mario Kart games have, so I think it'd be fun if this game also had a new version of each of those. On top of that, we have the classic Mario Kart Cup. This includes 4 very popular stages throughout the Mario Kart franchise, that being Coconut Mall, Waluigi's Pinball, Baby Park, and Rainbow Road from the Nintendo 64. All very popular classic stages throughout this franchise's history, all encompassed in one cup. Next, we have the DK Cup. This one takes DK Mountain, DK Jungle, and DK Summit, as well as an entirely new DK track that would be made for this game. Following that, we have the Yoshi Cup, taking Yoshi's Island, Yoshi Circuit, Yoshi Falls, and again, another new Yoshi track to round off this cup and add to the number of Yoshi tracks, because there actually isn't that many. Donkey Kong has more somehow. And this one is what I like to call the Mario Kart Crossover Cup. These are the 4 franchises represented in the original Mario Kart that isn't from Mario Kart. So we have the Excite Bike Arena, Hyrule Castle, Mute City, and Animal Crossing, which the fact that it doesn't actually have like a proper stage name, it's just kind of like the Animal Crossing stage. Nintendo, fix that, please. Now we get to the new fun ones. First, we have the Space Cup, encompassing some of Nintendo's Interstellar franchises. So we have a Kirby-based stage, Metroid stage, Star Fox stage, and a new F-Zero stage. While it doesn't take place in space, I know if I didn't say we're going to do another F-Zero related thing, I'd probably get like a swarm of people. And in all honesty, I want us to do an F-Zero Cup, but we gotta accept the truth. It's been so long since we got something F-Zero related, I just didn't see it happening. Next, we have the Classic Cup. This includes older, more popular franchises in some way, shape, or form from back in the day. We have a level based off of Wave Race, a level based off of Ice Climbers, a level based off of OG Kid Icarus. We could maybe incorporate Uprising. Don't worry about that. And another new Zelda stage that looks back to the past and maybe incorporates elements of Tears of the Kingdom Breath of the Wild. Lastly, we have what I like to call the Switch Cup, just modern Nintendo, if you will. We're going to have a level based off of Splatoon, a level based off of ARMS, a level based off of the Nintendo Labo that actually had tracks built in, so we could take one of those and rework it. We also have one based off of Ring Fit. The stages in Ring Fit are linear, but I feel like the scenery and setting to actually work for a stage, which is why I threw it in. With all of that being said, that is my interpretation, if you will, of what could be the roster, vehicle selection, and stage selection for Nintendo Kart. Mario Kart Nintendo Edition. Smash Bros. Racing Edition. Whatever you want to call this game. It's very much a fun thought experiment, and I tried my best to keep it limited and in some ways realistic. Usually for these kind of videos where I'm designing something, I try to go for the more fun, what people would like to see, what I would like to see idea. For this one, due to the fact that arguably it could be a possibility at one point, due to the overall success of Nintendo overall, Mario Kart overall, Smash Bros. Overall. One day, theoretically, I could see them going all in and saying, hey, we're making another crossover game, that being a kart racer like Mario Kart, but it's Smash Bros. Or Mario Party or sport game, whatever the case. I actually could see it, especially Mario Party. I almost did that for this video, actually. If you want to see that, let me know. I could see them 100% doing a Mario Party board game style crossover game. But yeah, there's only so much to share. Mario Kart, when you're reflecting on it, is actually a really big game. But a lot of the time, I do this, and a lot of people I know do this as well, is they kind of just go, it's a racing game with Mario. But then you sit and look at it for a while, you realize it's a lot more than just a simple racing game, and a Mario game at that. So yeah. I tried my best. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know anything you would do different, what you would actually like to see, and if you think it's even possible to get a Nintendo Kart. With all that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe. Helps this channel a ton. And I wish you all a lovely day.